Landon writes in, he says, "What's up, Zach? In your opinion, what makes an offensive coordinator great?" Now, there are a couple of things. Number one, you need to be able to adapt your system to your players. A lot of guys have great ideas. Well, good ideas. But you can't force it on your team. You can't force your ideas on your personnel and your roster. You got to be flexible. A good idea is useless if your team can't execute it. You're like, we're going to run zone read all year, and your quarterback's a lardo that can't run. That's a bad idea. It doesn't work. You got to shape your offense to fit the skill set of your players. And really, it takes a smart, creative mind who has the ability to think outside of the box. That's what you got to do mentally to be an offensive coordinator. Let go of your ego, let go of your personal plans, and realize, hey, Wes Welker and Randy Moss are very different players. One is tall and fast, one is short and quick. And you wouldn't ask Randy Moss and Wes Welker to do the same things as a receiver because that doesn't make any sense. You build an offense around their skill set. And somebody in New England at some point in their career looked at what Wes Welker was doing, I believe on the Miami Dolphins, and said, in the right system, Wes Welker could catch 100 catches a year. And it worked. That's what happened. That person was a visionary. Now, also to be a good offensive coordinator, you need people skills. It's so important. It's something that isn't talked enough about in the world of coaching, where you need to have a good relationship with the head coach. The head coach needs to trust your offensive coordinator, needs to trust you. And you also need to have a good relationship with your players. The players need to trust you. And you got to love football. You have to love football. It's too much work if you don't love football. There's just too much that goes into it behind the scenes for you to make it happen. And you got to take extreme ownership. On offense, everything is on you. You can't blame people. You got to solve stuff. If a guy's lined up wrong, that's on you. You didn't coach him well enough. If a coach under you, a quarterback coach or the receivers coach screws up, that's also on you. You got to make sure your coaches are doing better. Everything on offense is on the offensive coordinator. And then you can't look down on your players. They're not pawns. They're people. And if you treat them like they're not people, you treat them like pawns, in your grand scheme to win football games, it's going to leak out. Whether you say it or not, they're going to know, they're going to feel that vibe. And so you need to have a good football mind. But a lot of the required traits to be a good offensive coordinator are just people skills. People skills are incredibly, incredibly important to being an offensive coordinator. Obviously, you got to be smart. You got to think outside the box, be a creative offensive mind. But as much as that's important, equally or maybe more important, you got to be a guy who gets along with people and has good people skills. That's how you make it as an offensive coordinator in the game of football.